Yeah, he, he is
Oh no,
recording.
he has
Yeah.
gone, hasn't he? He's gone.
No.
Can you hear us, Mike W? Oh God, I called him Mike again. Fucking hell.
Come on, Evie.
It's been a long day. That's everyone's excuse.
Mike, is your mark working?
Somebody's tongue-tied.
Listen, I've seen better plans in an Airfix kit.
Do I ever find my singing type in? Screw is a pill. I want to see skin.
You absolutely insist on using erotic persuasion to achieve your devious ends?
Strangely happens. Doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Don't me a flipper. I'll be back for Christmas.
Well, I was only away 2 minutes.
Follow the rimmer-shaped blur.
Apparently, the gentleman's name is Brimmer, sir.
They broke my leg. They broke my leg.
Better dead than Smeg.
Oh, I forgot. I haven't told you the news.
I would use it to buff my suit.
How many people are going to DJ who are in this? Who are talking now?
Me,
Who's me?
Tim.
Hi, Tim. I'm going as well.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Did you go last time? Oh, bloody hell. Oh, so he can hear us. He just can't. He just can't speak. Oh, I wish I had a couple of ex-boyfriends like that. What the hell was that? Was that a laugh?
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was me.
All right. So my first Red Dwarf related question is everybody in this group called Mark? Because I feel left out. So maybe I could be called Marky with an IE just so that I fit in.
Marquette.
Marquette, yeah. Yeah, I'm Marquette. Marcavia. Yeah, oh, that's nice. Okay, so someone needs to take the head of the table then. Huh?
Why not? It's got to be Evie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm mad.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so if we so let's start with, I think what we were saying earlier in the week, if we just do something simple, like what's everyone's favourite episode? I know it's a bit mundane, but still get a conversation going. So if we start with, who have we got? Mark, and John and Tim. So we start with, is there Tim there?
I'm here.
So Tim, what is your favourite episode? And what? Tell us a bit about it.
I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I've got two. I've got a personal favourite and then an overall favourite.
Okay. Let's start with the personal one then.
The personal favourite, well, both from series 5, and nice. Personal favourite is Quarantine. I mean, it's just got to be. For me, it's a great episode of Red Dwarf from start to finish. It's got all the great character interaction. All the comedy, which I enjoy from it. I think the thing I enjoy the most is when they're stuck in quarantine, that their sort of chemistry between them. And then after, when they get out, of course, we have them being chased by an insane rimmer with Mr. Flibble. And that wins it hands down for me. And that's an episode I can watch over and over again. It's got so many great lines. So many to mention. My overall favourite episode, though, is Back to Reality. For the simple reason, it is a perfect episode of Red Dwarf. It's where Red Dwarf peaked. I mean, if you want an example of a perfect episode and a really well-written episode, it's Back to Reality. When I first saw it, it was a bit of a shock. And I saw it when it was originally broadcast back in '92. And I probably thought the same thing everyone thought, which was that this is it. This is the end, because it's all going to be revealed to be, a computer game they've been inside of all, until the twist at the end, where we find that actually no, that's not the case. It was all a big hallucination, and well, hopefully we'll be up for some more Red Dwarf in the future. But of course, we've got again all the alter egos, including Dwayne Dibley, his first appearance, and it's just an iconic episode. But I mentioned that it was very well written. I think it's the best written episode. If you actually read the script, you'll realise how well written it is, and it's just it's a good base of an episode of Red Dwarf that is pretty much perfect, and it doesn't get any better than that. It's also been voted the favourite episode amongst the fans for years now, and I believe it's still on top of Ganymede and Titan's Silver Survey.
Okay. I didn't know that actually, because I always see Gunman of the Apocalypse on all of those.
Well, it sort of goes in
countdowns, but it's not one of my faves.
I'm not really a fan of Gunman of the Apocalypse.
Well, Gunman of the Apocalypse has been a winner in certain years, and then Back to Reality sort of takes it again. And at the moment, it's Back to Reality, and I think that's well deserved. I think that's a much better episode than Gunman of the Apocalypse. I like Gunman of the Apocalypse, but I'm definitely of the opinion that it's not one of my top 5. I think it'd be probably more in a top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's just because it won an Emmy that it sort of it's critically acclaimed rather than a fan favourite, I suppose. But yeah, Back to Reality is amazing. And like you, I watched it on the first broadcast as well, and I didn't see the twist coming. I was totally shocked. I was totally got away with the story. It was just it was brilliant. So Quarantine and Back to Reality for Tim.
I want to point out quickly that Quarantine tends to be a fan favourite as well as Back to Reality, so I know I'm in good company. Okay, so we move on to John.
Okay.
I think Tim set the precedent now. I think we're all allowed to. I think it wouldn't be fair.
God damn it, you had to go and push the boat out.
Well, I have to. We've got to be fair.
Yeah.
So go for it, John.
I think the one that really got me into this series in the first place, Backwards. It is very good, but it's also sort of very farcical. And that's the one thing I like about Red Dwarf, particularly when they're not on the ship, is when they sort of go and do their exploits elsewhere. So for things like that, I do like that for the farcical element, plus the idea of doing everything backwards. Like Hitler, sort of, Smeging off back to Austria where he came from. And exactly. Plus, there are things like, but the other one that really sort of sticks in my mind in that regard is the sort of being off the ship is Ticket to Ride. It is I feel so far removed from sort of Red Dwarf, but in with what they were trying to achieve, and to add to the sort of conspiracy theories, it was Kennedy that killed himself, I think was brilliant, but sort of on the ship, I mean, it's like Tim had said, Back to Reality, you cannot beat that as an episode. It's got everything. It sort of takes you down one path, then it sort of cheats you a wee bit, but just the stupidity of it is the one reason to sort of like it the most. When you see that they're sort of back on the ship and they're okay, but I think for me, but even when you think about like episodes of Meltdown, as an example, don't eyeball me, Gandhi. Just sort of one-liners in episodes like that. You can't help but sort of love. For me, I've always sort of preferred the episodes where they're away from the ship than the sort of episodes where they're on the ship and being a sort of sitcom on the bunks kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal preference.
So yours are which ones did you say? Backwards
and Ticket to Ride.
And Ticket to Ride. Okay. Different choices there. And then so Mark with a K. Is he still here?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I was being quiet.
Oh yeah, he's giving his Roger Moore voice. Hi, Mark.
No.
So your favourite 2 episodes and why?
Oh God damn it. Probably first one of my favourites, probably Legion. I like how it sets into place. That it kind of gives more facts of the storyline. As first episode that we see the hard light version of Rimmer, and obviously all of his antics. And then we see how the crew tries to adapt to the association with this new person who they find kind of psychotic. But it's kind of like the what they can do. It shows at the end what they can do if they all put their minds together, what they can achieve and accomplish. And then they're not just stuck in deep space about how they can advance and if they all work together on what they can do. So.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think.
Go on.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say on that point, it reminds me of a lot of great sci-fi series where there's a moral to the story. So as you said, if we all work together, etc., etc. And then I love that there's that twist at the end where, of course, it does actually mess up. Because Crichton does that lovely speech at the end, doesn't he? And then it doesn't work.
You believe, and then 2 minutes later, they're flying down the corridor.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that it never gets that serious and moralistic, that there is always just that final sort of one-liner or situation where it does just completely smeg up. So I love that.
Probably my second favourite is... My second favourite probably Justice. I do like Justice. It's one of my favourite episodes. One of the first ones I ever got hooked on as a child. But with Justice, I think it's the bit at the start where Lister's got the space mumps and his head's almost interfering with the ceiling. Remember it's obviously him calling him a cantaloupe. Brilliant. But it shows how Rimmer feels guilty for all of the deaths he caused aboard Red Dwarf. And we finally start to know about the brig as well, because first of all, they didn't know about the brig until, obviously, of course, they found out that he killed more than 1 million people. But yeah, so I think that's probably one of my favourite as well. So yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. Actually, I've noticed that so far everybody's chosen similar episodes and just showing the diversity of what you're into. So, for example, I would say that both of those episodes centre a massive baddie, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
That's the theme of Justice and Legion are similar in those ways. And as we were saying before, the other two were off the ship. Sorry, was that John? Yeah, John's two were off the ship. Yeah. So that's interesting.
I think Legion's the best episode of Series 6. I think it's in my top 5.
Well, it's up there with Sirens, because I do like Sirens as well. Sirens is very good.
Good opener. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Who else is in here?
We need to hear from you as well, Evie. So.
Oh, mine. So mine.
Your turn.
Mine has already been mentioned, which is Legion. Probably because, I don't know, maybe being a Trekkie, I get very attracted to ones that are kind of locked room puzzle kind of episodes, which is what I found Legion to be. I like the fantasy about it, about, if I was in that situation, I'd flip and stay there, because it is pretty amazing just to have whatever you want. But so I think he's a brilliant baddie. I love that sort of locked room puzzle situation, and it's got one of my favourite jokes in there, the light switch with Rimmer thinking that it's an artifact. I just find that hilarious. So that one. And my second one, it's hard. I want to say Back to Reality just because I remember watching that for the first time and I got totally swept away with it and I did not see the twist come in. But I'm going to say Marooned. Marooned, I like... totally opposite to John. I like when it's all on the ship. I like the enclosed claustrophobia type feeling of Dwarf in those episodes. So a lot of the early ones I like in the bunk beds and the human interaction. But with Marooned, it was very much Chris Barry and Craig Charles at their best acting wise. I just think it's fantastic because the whole thing is just them two acting together, in 4 walls. Well, 3 walls because it's not actually a room. But yeah, Marooned I love. So Marooned and Legion is my two. Anyone we've missed? Is that the 4 of us?
Apart from the other Mark. Yeah.
Apart from the other Mark, who can probably still hear us, but we can't hear.
Which is...
Well, see if he gives us his favourite episodes, and we can always talk about them and what we think of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mark, why don't you type your favourite 2 episodes? And we will sit in silence and wait for you to type, which would be really awkward.
In the meantime, here's little music.
There you go.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Oh, you're a legend.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's so funny. Right, okay. So, Mark, I don't know an episode that is called Ha Ha Ha. So choose again.
That's series 12. Yeah, that's a spoiler.
Yeah, mate. Series 12 spoiler. You need to stop that, mate. No spoilers in the group.
Oh.
Okay.
Gunman of the Apocalypse. Gunman of the Apocalypse. Okay. So critically acclaimed, Emmy-winning episode. Which we've already covered, but I don't know, it just wasn't one of my faves. I don't know why. Yep, I chose the best.
Well, maybe it's the best in your opinion.
Fair enough.
Everyone talks about the Emmy Award, but they did win a comedy award in '94 as well, a British Comedy Award.
They did.
For I think it was for Series 6. Yeah. And they mentioned then About Time. So I think maybe it was kind of like a bit like when Return of the King won the Oscar. It was kind of for the other two films as well. So it may not have been just the episode. It might have been they won the Emmy because it was about time they did.
But yeah, that's a very good point, actually. I think it was more sort of to their peers sort of paying tribute because it was long awaited, really, to get to season 6 and only just get a comedy award. I think was a bit tragic, but I'm glad they got it. Right, so what's your second one, Mark? Will see?
I think his second one will probably be The American Pilot.
Don't you dare bring that up. That didn't exist. Don't you dare.
See, I don't mind it.
Oh.
I honestly don't mind it. No,
that was the best episode made.
Ever, yes.
No, I don't mind it. I quite like the take on it. I thought Lister was pretty cool as well, and I know that's not very popular, but
I've seen a decent quality version of it.
He says not the USA. Back to Earth. Okay.
Okay, back to Earth.
Okay. That's quite an unusual one. Well, Mark's actually texted me to say talk about news. What we think about Craig being in the Gadget show.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. I like the Gadget show. So.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for years, so I wouldn't know. But I don't know. Is he into his gadgets?
I don't think that's a question we're allowed to ask, to be honest.
Well, I mean, he did Robot Wars. He's obviously likes the kind of engineering side of things, I suppose, like Bobby Lou does as well. And he also said
Cyberzone.
He also said, "What do we think about Norman being back for the final episode? What we think about spoilers?"
What do you think about spoilers? They should all be burned, and anyone who does should be hung.
But yeah, I'm so glad Norman's back. He's definitely my favourite. Holly, I like both of them, but Norman's my favourite. And I've seen Norman in stand up, and he's just had me in absolute tears. He's such a funny guy.
Very fun.
But I don't know what capacity he's in that series. I don't know if it's just going to be a little cameo, in one episode, or I really don't know.
At the last second, what's happening? Dude, Red Dwarf just instantly implodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they implode, and then you just get a screen of him. So what's happening, dudes? Where is everyone?
God damn it! You should have fixed the drive plate properly again.
Again, yeah.
So it's turned out to be the worst kept secret in Series 12.
Mm-hmm.
Say about spoilers. So it was meant to be kept a secret, but good old Norm let the cat out of the bag on numerous occasions, and then finally it went public.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Lister jumpstart the Big Bang, like we see him Back to Reality. I'd like to see him jumpstart the Big Bang with Carl Jackson. Good fun.
Well, we've already had the love story across time, space, death, and reality.
Yeah, I mean that could be the final moment. I mean, Lister could go back to the final moments of Red Dwarf, and he could try and go back and save Katlansky, and end up getting a radioactive mess to the face. Now that would be a good ending.
Mark with a C also says, do you think because Norman coming back that we might have Chloe that we might get Chloe or closure to Series 8?
It's possibly
very possible. Because at the last jump, at the last Dimension jump, Doug said that there was going to be a Kachansky episode or a was going to appear in the new series at some point. And since she hasn't appeared in series 11, we can only guess it's going to be series 12, possibly towards the end, maybe speculation.
Yeah, I totally missed that that part of DJ because I was so hungover from the Friday that I didn't get up until about 12. And then I came down and everyone was just like going, "Oh my God, Dad came in and he told us that there's 2 series." I was like, "What?" I was so hungover but so happy.
Gutted.
So I'm going to take it easy this time. Yeah, I totally missed it. I came down about 1 o'clock.
No, you did it right. You did it right the first night you met, and then be hungover the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it was fine. The Friday was the best.
Good night.
Right. Yeah. Mark's still texting. Hang on. Maybe there are 2 versions of Red Dwarf, the BBC era and the Dave era, and they finally meet. Interesting.
I do think that's very true.
We see Rimmer go and almost die in the final episode of Series 8. But I wonder what happened to that Rimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he went down with the ship or he found another way to activate the mirror. And I don't know if that mirror universe obviously had their own version of Rimmer.
It says Ace was meant to save him, but was changed.
Would you want a new Ace Rimmer cameo?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I like Ace Rimmer, but I think he's just been overused too many times, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Every time we see him, we'll never get the same one because the original one we've only seen once anyway.
Exactly. So there's always going to be a new backstory. And I think, again, I'm sorry that I've mentioned Star Trek twice now, but being a Trekkie, our similar sort of comeback character was Q. And he's such a popular character that they just kept writing, other episodes. I think there were 6 episodes across all of the seasons. But so I see Ace sort of like that. There's just so much you can do with him, really.
Doug was
and it's fun
started
for Chris,
to mention
Chris
jump.
Barry as well.
He said, is he going to bring back any new characters for series 11 and 12? He said no. He wants to start doing different ideas. He doesn't want to start using old ideas.
Yeah.
Only in series 11 he did reuse some old ideas.
Yeah. But with lots of new characters, though. So I can see maybe he makes some new classic characters. In 10 years' time, we might be talking about, a new classic character that's come back a few times. Who knows? I don't know. But I guess in 10 years' time...
I agree. I think the current Red Dwarf that we're seeing at the moment is still too current to judge. In about 10 years' time, I think they'll feel about as classic as the originals.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a return for Camille as well. So.
What's that?
Camille, the girl, the changing girl. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her return back to Brighton. That would be quite funny.
Oh, okay. But that's Bobby Lou's wife now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's obviously she's about and available. Probably, you can just go home and ask her. Just ask her at dinner.
Do you want to do it again?
You fancy coming in and doing a bit of recording, love? No, I don't want to go. Last time I was played with a green blob. I don't like that.
Oh, are they? I didn't know they were Northern.
Shut up.
Not normal.
I thought Robert was from Northampton.
Yeah.
That's sort of north, isn't it?
That's what I was trying to aim for. But whether it worked on those from now.
So the boss has emailed again. What's he saying? Mark with a C saying, "What's your earliest memory of the show?" I can't answer that one because I actually don't remember. It's just Red Dwarf has always been around, because it came out in 1988 and I was 8 then. So I can't actually remember what the first memory was, apart from because I know I'm not on camera, but I'm mixed race, and apart from just being like totally chuffed to see a black guy and a mixed race guy and a white guy and they're all equals, sort of.
I know where you're coming from. I mean, I guess at that time that was extremely rare. Because of all the racial backgrounds and all of that. But I guess it was a standpoint for racial stereotyping to stop for actual TV. So. Yeah,
because there's the most important thing being is there's no mention of it either. There is absolutely, it's a non-thing. There are no cultural references at all.
No, apart from Lemons, it's a bit of a poke Christianity, but
Yeah, no, there's no cultural. I mean, no one mentions that he's black or mixed race or whatever. It's not a thing. They're just all, they're just people. So that's sort of a memory that I do have, but I don't remember when I first saw it. What about you guys? What's your earliest memory?
Don't know. Born in 2000.
Life.
Yeah, I was going to say I was born in 1990, so I was born after it started.
So I was born way after it started. Season 6 already come and gone.
Do you remember, so were you watching reruns? Did you get a DVD? How did you sort of hear about it or get into it?
Saw it on a rerun, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, so it would have been, on Dave by then?
Dave, yes.
Yeah.
I seen it on DVD. It was the first episode that caught my eye was the Crichton episode.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2, I think.
Mark said about going to see Craig Charles live and stand up in 1992 and not know who he was, but he found out from that he was in a show called Red Dwarf and watched their tapes and read it. So pretty much a classic way to get into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
See, going back to what you were saying, Evie, like about the sort of Craig Charles being mixed race and something like that. I always remember growing up and when watching that, and I always sort of liking Red Dwarf, as you say, for that. To see someone different on TV, but someone that was not just like a black guy, but a white guy in white man. Obviously, he was allowed to sort of show his culture and what he was wearing and what he was sort of listening to and things like that. And I think that sort of helped open a lot of doors, and I sort of liked that part of it as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think I've noticed that it's not really mentioned either. Whenever I watch any sort of pop culture history programs about ethnic diversity, Red Dwarf's not really mentioned. And I'm not sure why. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it might be a good thing. It might be just because literally it's not mentioned, like Rising Damp, which is a sitcom of the 70s. They had a black character in who was actually in Red Dwarf in Hollow Ship. Do you remember?
Don Warrington.
Don Warrington. Yeah, Lister to Red Dwarf. That scene.
We have an it's a complete and utter Smeg Up.
But he's cast in Rising Damp as a black character. In Red Dwarf, it's just not mentioned at all. I just think that's really interesting. But I don't know why it doesn't get mentioned or celebrated. But so be it.
What's everyone's favourite piece of technology from Red Dwarf franchise?
Ooh.
I mean, for me, it's got to be Rumors of Light B, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a theme in a lot of sci-fi things, having hologram, but not to this extent. I think that was a really clever idea. And, of course, we see it in the first episode, don't we, where we see the funeral. And then, of course, half an hour later, he's a hologram. What's his name?
The
guy that died in the first episode.
McIntyre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know what that makes me? Because obviously McIntyre would have been he wouldn't have been affected by the radioactive blast. So that means I must have seen everyone around him turn to radioactive dust.
Oh God, I've never thought of that. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, I feel really sad now. Let's put a massive downer on the chat. God, I've never thought of that. Yeah. But was he the only hologram there? Yeah, because I suppose it was they introduced it as being quite a relatively new thing, right?
Yeah,
because they explain and say, you can treat him the same and etc. etc. So yeah, I think that's a really good candidate for one of the best technologies. Anyone else?
Probably like the actual total immersion software. Just because you could imagine, like when you're younger, watching that and thinking, wow, if only, and yet you see things like that now.
Yeah.
Like the sort of total immersion software and the VR goggles and everything. So it's one of those things that you sort of grew up thinking, that would be amazing. And actually, when you see it now, you're kind of thinking, yeah, all right, that is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be that.
Yeah, that's a good candidate. Let me just see what else.
The Chrono Exploder is another good one as well. Chrono Exploder is absolutely.
What's Crichton's penis called? Archie, that's it. Not necessarily best technology, but one of the funniest moments.
Oh, also Bob. Bob the Scout.
Oh, the Scouters?
Yeah.
No, Bob and Madge, I think. Both of them.
don't remember.
Ed, have you met any of the cast, and if so, when?
Yes.
I've had a brief encounter with Mr. Llewellyn himself.
Very nice.
Wasn't it? It was
on the train?
Yes.
Cool.
Pure coincidence.
Yeah, that is. That's not even at a convention. That's just like total coincidence. Where were you going?
I was at London, so I mean, I got there from hospital appointments, and I was on the train, so I was like, ooh. Physically, as you see this, how old was that at the time? 8 or 9? Is it 8 or 9 squealing at this guy that looks so. It was amazing. My strange.
So I'm guessing whoever went to DJ last time met. Who was there? Danny was there, Bobby, Chris, Gordon, Kennedy, and Hattie, and the Shend, and Mac McDonald as well. Gosh, there were a lot of people
I
haven't
been to a Dimension Jump yet. I mean, I'm hoping to go sometime soon when I'm older. So.
Yeah, so there'll be another one in 2019.
I'm gonna go there. I'll go next time.
Yeah, it's every 2 years.
I'll be old enough, so.
Yeah, I think I've met everybody. I think because the first time all 8 of the cast met was in my hometown, so I went to that. Yeah, literally everyone. Chloe and Grant and Craig. Although I'd met Craig before. So yeah, they're all pretty cool. But Bobby's just an absolute hoot. He's my kind of person. He's just such a naturally funny guy. He's just like that all the time, isn't he? Whereas Chris is quite shy. Oh my goodness, a VR headset. Wow. It's only 350 quid. I'll get 6.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That'd make a cool cosplay. Is anyone cosplaying at DJ this year?
Yeah, I'm going as a Red Dwarf fan.
You're going as a Red Dwarf fan?
I'm lazy. Sorry, I'm really lazy. But honestly, every year you see some fantastic ones, and they get better and better every year.
Yeah.
I'd like to see someone go as a Gelf, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Gelf yet. Last time the winner was a Despair Squid, but she was like 6 years old. She was so cute. She was just this massive squid. So cute.
Bless her. We had Erica come over from the States, who came as a tension sheet.
Tension sheet, yeah, I met her.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Apparently, it took about 5 seconds to make it because she just bought some red bubble wrap and wrapped it around herself.
Yeah, me and my friend are going for a time slides cosplay actually. So my friend's going to be a tension sheet or rep, and I'm going as Lister, but from time slide, when he's rich. So I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah. You're going to walk around with Cash playing in the background.
Sure.
Evie, what do you think of MILFs?
Okay.
What?
Jesus Christ.
What do you think of MILFs?
MILFs?
Yeah. They make an old intergalactic collaboration front.
I can't understand your accent.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a spoiler, by the way. That's a big spoiler.
Galactic Liberation Front.
Oh, MILFs. Oh, okay. I was thinking, what is American Pie?
This is too...
Can I just say, now you've mentioned that, I was in the audience for that episode.
Will you? Oh, brilliant.
So if we hear a random man...
Obviously due to be shown later, I can't wait for it.
Oh, great. So you enjoyed it? It's good stuff to look forward to, yeah?
It was fantastic. Better than anything in Series 11, trust me. It's got the makings of a classic episode.
Oh my god, I'm so excited! I'm gonna burst.
I'm so excited.
And if you're disappointed by it, then unfortunately, I've done much for you. Sorry.
What do you think about the Dave era of the show compared to the BBC?
Dave kind of expanded it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, with Dave, they had a kind of big, I think, not more of a bigger budget, but I think they had more ideas than the BBC did. I think Series 8 was kind of rushing it for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I think by this point, Douglas found his feet writing without Rob Grant. Obviously, series 7 and 8 were difficult for him because it's the first time he was on his own. But by series 10 and especially by series 11, and very much going into 12, I think he's very much found his way writing on his own now.
Yeah, I think though, see with the Davey era, I mean, they've not gone full on adult comedy or anything, but there is sort of more adult related content. I mean, like Samsara as an example, like the crew engaged in an orgy, to try and stay alive. So it's not like it's gone full on adult or aggressive or anything, but it's certainly sort of grown up with the audience.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's always been adult themes, obviously, but I think on the BBC maybe they were more restricted. I'm not sure, so it needs to be more suggested rather than said out loud. But I'm not sure. I mean, it was post Watershed when it was on BBC Two, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're definitely eating up TV in a completely different way now, and I think that's why it needs to be on Dave anyway. If that makes sense.
I think it is better that it's on Dave, and that, I mean, they will feel a lot more freer in what they're doing and what they can say. So I think it's better for the show. Plus, the show itself is breaking a lot of Dave's records, for like audience and things like that. So it shows that they've still got a lot of pulling power as well. Whereas if they were on the BBC, they'd probably get lost in the schedules.
Yeah. I agree, and that would probably encourage Dave to keep investing in it as well, which is what we want, obviously.
Plus, if you remember, I mean, a lot of the season 11 episodes were on a week ahead of time on the UK TV player. So I think what Dave tried to do in effect is, make it sort of more online sort of friendly, which is probably something that the BBC would not have done.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully everyone's audio and connections and stuff will be better next time. Yeah. All right. So Evie signing out. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
John out. Sayonara, peeps.
See you
soon. And goodbye from me.
Message end. Just leave it as that. Message end.
Message end.
Message end. This is all outtakes.
Yeah, it's just Smeg Up.
Mike's fine, but Mark's not working.
Oh shit! All right, let me just log into Messenger a minute and see what he's doing. Hang on.
I must say, it's off to a cracking start.
Bless him. Once he's in, he'll be all right. Right.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Oh, good. My internet keeps cutting off. I'm just going to move my router a second. 1 moment.
Yours is really clear, whoever that was just talking.
That was Tim.
That was
Timothy Tim.
Yeah, no, that was good. He's got a good mic.
I have a good mic as well.
Mine's just iPhone headphones. It always seems all right with Skype, but I don't know what Mark's using. Because he tested it last night and it was all right, wasn't it? Maybe he just tested it with himself. Maybe he can hear this whole conversation.
You can. I think he is recording. He is recording. Please don't say fuck or bugger.
Don't say fuck or bugger. I've already said fuck about 10 times, sorry. But I never say bugger, though. Never.
Oh.
Well, at least there's some limits, I guess.
Oh, Mark is definitely... I don't know what's going on. He's not a messenger either.
He's maybe just checking his connection.
He's typing.
He's gone into status.
Mic down.
It sounds like some new kind of like rap. My mic down. Alright.
She got season 8 on at the moment.
Oh,
shit, I've got to stop saying season. I'm not American, am I? Why do we all start saying... Yeah, we started saying seasons lately because of Game of Thrones and stuff. But no, series. I've got series 8.
I want to point out quickly.
Oh no, God! I'm not getting many words out. We'll have to edit this, I think, quite heavily. Because otherwise he just sounds absolutely mental.